Okay, Assalamualaikum, selamat sejahtera. Okay, chapter 7, determining cost, budget and earn value. Chapter concept. Based on the material in this chapter, student will become familiar with estimating the cost of activities, determining a time phase baseline budget, determining the earned value of the work performed, analyzing cost performance, forecasting project costs at completion, controlling project costs, and managing cash flow. Learning outcomes. After studying this chapter, students should be able to estimate the cost of activities, aggregate the total budgeted cost, develop a time phase baseline budget, describe how to accumulate actual costs, determine the earned value of work performed, calculate and analyze key project performance measures, discuss and apply approaches to control the project budget, and explain the importance of managing cash flow. Concept in this chapter support the following project management knowledge area of the PMI guide to the project management body of knowledge, which is project cost management. Estimate activity cost. The total project cost is often estimated during the initiating phase of the project or when the project charter or a proposal is prepared. The estimate cost for each specific activity can include the following elements: labor, estimate cost for the various classification of people who are expected to work on the project on the estimated work time, and the dollar labor rate for each person or classification. Materials are the estimated cost of materials that the project team or contractor need to purchase for the project. Equipment, the equipment that must be purchased as part of the project. Facilities, special facilities or additional space for the project team for security reason, to store materials, or to build, assemble, and test the project and item. Subcontractors and consultants are outsourced when project team or contractor do not have the expertise or resources to conduct certain project tasks. Travel may be required during the project. Contingency, also referred to as reserve, funds set aside to cover unexpected situations that may come up during the project, such as items that may have been overlooked when the initial project scope was defined, activities that may have to be redone because they may not work the first time, which is need to be redesigned, or a high probability or high impact risk that may occur. There are a number of good practices that project managers should keep in mind when estimating costs. Number 1, have the person responsible for the task estimate cost. Number 2, use historical data to inform the current project because you can learn from past project mistake. Number 3, be reasonable and realistic. Number 4, estimate near-term activities as accurately as possible. Although at the beginning of the project, it may not be possible to estimate the cost for all activities with a high degree of confidence regarding accuracy. This is especially true for longer-term projects. Elaborate other costs as additional information become available. Consumer Market Study Project Estimated Cost. The figure on this slide depicts the estimated cost for each activity in the Consumer Market Study project. Aggregate total budgeted cost. Allocating total project cost to the appropriate work packages will establish a total budgeted cost or TBC for each work package. There are two approaches to establishing the TBC for each work package, which is top-down and bottom-up. Often, the sum of the initial estimated cost is greater than the sponsor's budget sponsor. Several iterations of working out the cost may be required to reduce the cost to within an acceptable level. The figure on this slide illustrates the cost allocation for a 600,000 project. The costs are assigned to each work package. When the budget for all the work package are summed up, they cannot exceed the total project budgeted cost. Packaging machine project aggregate total budgeted cost. The two figures on this slide depict the network diagram and the work breakdown structure, which cost assigned. You will see this example repeatedly throughout the remainder of this chapter. Develop cumulative budgeted cost. Once a total budgeted cost has been established for each work package, the second step in the project budgeting process is to distribute each TBC over the duration of each work package. The cost determined for each period is based on the activities that make up the work package are scheduled to be performed to create the time phase budget. The cumulative budgeted cost CBC is the amount that was budgeted to accomplish the work that was scheduled to be performed up to that point in time. The CBC for the entire project or each work package provide a baseline against which actual costs and work performance can be compared at any time during the project. This is important to use the cumulative budget as the standard against which actual cost is compared. Packaging machine project develop cumulative budgeted cost. The figure on this slide depict the development of the cumulative budgeted cost for a packaging machine project. This figure show the budgeted cost by period for packaging machine project. While this figure show the cumulative budgeted cost curve for the packaging machine project. The points on the graph correspond to the cumulative shown in the figure previously. Determine actual cost. Once the project starts, it is necessary to keep track of actual costs and committed costs so that they can be compared to the CBC. To keep track of actual costs on a project, it is necessary to set up a system to collect on a regular and timely basis data on funds actually expended. Large projects have charge code assigned to different work package number to determine how the actual costs compare to the planned cost. In many projects, large dollar amounts are expended for material or services such as on subcontractors or consultants that are used over a period of time longer than one cost reporting period. These committed costs need to be treated in a special way so that system periodically assign a portion of their total cost to actual cost. Committed costs are also known as commitment or encumbered costs. Costs are committed when an item is ordered, even though actual payment may take place at some later time. Cumulative actual cost CAC should then be calculated as data are collected on actual costs, including portion of any commitment cost. They need to be totaled by work package so that they can be compared to the cumulative budgeted cost. Packaging machine project determine actual cost. The figure on the top indicate that at the end of week 8 of the packaging machine project, 68,000 has actually been expended, although only 64,000 was budgeted. With the CAC values, it is possible to draw a cumulative actual cost curve, which you see in the figure on the bottom this slide. Okay, this is actual cost by period for packaging machine project. So you can see the cumulative cost is $68,000. And this is cumulative budgeted and actual cost for the packaging machine project. So at the week 8, there are 4,000 overrun. Determine value of work performed. Let's take a moment to think about an example of determining the value of work performed. Consider a project that involves painting 10 small rooms over 10 days, which means one room for one day, for a total budgeted cost of $2,000. This makes the budget of $200 per room. At the end of 5 days, you determine that 1,000 has been spent, which is on track monetarily. The problem is that only 3 rooms have been painted. Earned value, the value of the work actually performed, is a key parameter that must be determined throughout the project. Determining the earned value involves collecting data on the percent completed of each work package and then converting this percentage to a dollar amount by multiplying the TBC of the work package by the percent complete. In many cases, the estimate is subjective. It is important that the person estimating the percent complete not only assess how much work has been performed, but also consider that work remains to be done. For example, in the project involving painting 10 rooms for $2,000, if 3 rooms are completed, that means that 30% of the work has been performed. The earned value is 0.3 times $2,000 equal $600. This means that the project has expended $4,000 more than the earned value by day 5. Packaging machine project determine value of work performed. Here we see figure that will help us understand how to determine the value of work performed on the packaging project. This figure depicts the cumulative percent complete by period of the packaging machine project. While this figure depicts the cumulative earned value by period for the packaging machine project. To help you understand the different costs visually, this figure illustrates the CBC, which is cumulative budgeted cost, CAC, cumulative actual cost, and CEV, cumulative earned value for the entire project. You will note that the CAC is running above the CBC line. And the CEV is running below the CBC line. Analyze cost performance. There are four cost-related measures that are used to analyze project cost performance. The first one is TBC, total budgeted cost, followed by CBC, cumulative budgeted cost, followed by CAC, cumulative actual cost, and lastly is CEV, cumulative earned value. One can analyze cost performance by plotting the CBC, CAC, and CEV curve on the same graph as we just saw in the previous slide. Plotting the curve can help to reveal trend toward improving or deteriorating cost performance. Packaging machine project analyze cost performance. This figure shows the packaging machine project status as of the end of week 8. 64% of funds were budgeted to have been spent. 68% of overall funds were actually spent, and 54% of the total work was completed. Cost Performance Index. The Cost Performance Index, also known as CPI, is a measure of the cost efficiency with which of the project is being performed. The formula for determining the CPI is cumulative earned value divided by cumulative actual cost. CEV divided by CAC equal CPI. So, this is the formula for cost performance index. Packaging machine project cost performance index. Let's take a minute to look the CPI for the packaging machine project. Remember that the CPI is calculated by cumulative earned value divided by cumulative actual cost. In the packaging machine project, the CPI as of week 8 is $54,000 divided by $68,000 equal to 0.79. This ratio indicates that every $1 actually expended, only 79 cents of earned value was received. When the CPI dips below 1 or is trending smaller, corrective action should be taken. Cost variance. Another indicator of cost performance is cost variance, also known as CV, which is the difference between the cumulative earned value of the work performed and the cumulative actual cost. Cost variance equal CEV minus CAC. Packaging machine project cost variance. In the packaging machine project, the cost variance as week 8 is $54,000 minus $68,000 equal negative $14,000. This calculation indicates that the value of the work performed through week 8 is $14,000 less than the amount actually expended. Estimate cost at completion. Based on analysis of actual costs, it is possible to forecast what the actual cost will be at the completion of the project or work package. There are 3 different methods for determining the forecast cost at completion. However, in your examination, you need to understand only method number 1. This method assumes that the work to be performed on the remaining portion of the project or work package will be done at the same rate of efficiency as the work performed up to that point. Forecast cost at completion equal total budgeted cost divided by cost performance index. Packaging machine project estimate cost at completion. Let's look at the packaging machine project again and apply the method we just learned for determining the forecast cost at completion. By using the first method, the forecast cost at completion is 100,000 divided by 0.79 equal $126,582. So, bear in mind, in your examination, just use the first method. Control cost. The key to effective cost control is to analyze cost performance on a regular and timely basis. It is crucial that cost variances and inefficiency are identified early so that corrective action can be taken before the situation gets worse. Controlling costs involve the following. Number 1. Analyzing cost performance to determine which work package may require corrective action. Number 2. Deciding what specific corrective action should be taken. Number 3. Revising the project plan, including time and cost estimate, to incorporate the planned corrective action. Number 4. When evaluating work packages that have a negative cost variance, you should focus on taking corrective action to reduce the cost of two types of activities. Type number 1 is activities that will be performed in the near term. If you put off corrective action until some point in the distant future, the negative cost variance may deteriorate. Activities that have a large cost estimate. Taking corrective measure that reduce the cost of a 20,000 activity by 10% will have a larger impact than totally eliminating a $300 activity. Means whenever you want to do an corrective action, you need to watch these two types of activity. The first one is activity at the near term, and the second one is activity that have a large cost estimate. Okay, there are various ways to reduce the cost of activity. Number 1. Substitute less expensive material. Number 2. Assign a person with greater expertise or more experience to perform or help with the activity. Number 3. Reduce the scope or requirement is another way. And number 4 is increasing productivity through improved method or technology. In many cases, there will be trade-off. Reducing cost variances may involve a reduction in project scope or a delay in the project schedule. The key to effective cost control is aggressively addressing negative cost variance and cost inefficiency as soon as they are identified. Okay, next slide about manage cash flow. It is important to manage the cash flow on a project. Managing cash flow involves making sure that sufficient payment are received from the customer in time to cover the cost of performing the project. The key is to managing cash flow is to ensure that cash comes in faster than it goes out. The contractor might try to negotiate payment terms that require the customer to do one or more of the following. Number 1, provide a down payment at the start of the project. Number 2, make equal monthly payment based on the expected duration of the project. Or number 3, provide frequent payment such as weekly or monthly payment rather than quarterly payment. The worst scenario from the contractor point of view is to have the customer make only one payment at the end of the project. On the other hand, the contractor should control its outflow of cash by delaying payment as long as possible until they are due.